Let's get into what Sony can show this summer at their own E3-esque event. There's a lot of rumors going around when it comes to PS5 and their exclusives, so let's get into what Sony will show this summer and what we can expect from their own event they might throw this summer. There's a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Hey everyone, thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support is greatly appreciated. And if you want to be notified on future content, hit that little small bell icon. It really helps out the channel. But enough of that, let's get into what we can expect to see from Sony from their own E3 event that they might throw this summer. Now, I have to say, nothing has been confirmed, but if last year and years prior are any indication, is that Sony will have some sort of event to really push the PlayStation 5 hardware for the holiday season of 2021. I say this because there's a lot of competition this generation of the consoles, and Xbox truly doesn't stop with the hype and events they have planned, and not to mention all the acquisitions. And from the looks of it, Sony isn't shying away from the competition, and they're not afraid to announce games that are years in the making. During the PS4 era, as an example, PlayStation showed off Uncharted 4 while it was years away. They showed off Horizon Zero Dawn when it was multiple years away, and they showed off God of War when it was over 2 years away. So I wanted to get into what we can expect from a Sony event that could happen this summer. And the first thing I want to mention is that Sony has 25 games for the PlayStation 5 in development. You heard me right, 25 games. Here's what the article mentions. Well, it sure sounds like PlayStation Studios has been beavering away creating first-party games for the PlayStation 5. As an interview has revealed, Sony currently has 25 PS5 titles in the works, half of which are new IP. Speaking to Wired, Guerrilla co-founder Herman Holtz shared the numbers and said there's an incredible amount of variety originating from different regions in the pipeline with a mixture of big, small, different games. Okay, so the first thing I want to mention is that the biggest strength that Sony has over any company currently is the fact that they make some of the best first-party games around. They've earned that title after dominating the PS4 generation with great first-party games. And because of that, they deserve that respect. Yet with gaming in pretty much every single business out there, it's not what you've done for me, it's what you've done for me lately. And looking at Sony's lead up into the 2021 holiday season and these summer events, they have a lot of announcements ready to show off. And hearing from Herman Holtz, who's one of the founding members of Guerrilla Games, he seems to be very confident in the first-party output Sony is about to provide PS5 fans. And of course he is. It's Sony's strength. Their first-party studios is what makes Sony into what Sony is, and it's what defines PlayStation and who they are. I mean, think about it. They have 25 games in development, and I'm sure there's a lot of AAA studios in there, but also smaller games that Sony can hang their hats on. But for this video, I want to talk about the big AAA games that are probably going to be announced from Sony's first-party teams, along with some third-party deals they might have in the mix. And this is all rumor and my best guess, so don't take it as confirmed, because so far Sony has been very quiet about a summer event. Not to mention, they've said they'll be skipping E3 2021 altogether this year, like this article mentions right here. So what does Sony's likely E3 absence mean for PS5? Well, we'll still see new PS5 games from other publishers at the show, such as Ubisoft and Capcom, but it means the first-party exclusives that so many PlayStation fans are craving information about won't be present. It's likely that Sony will host its own E3-styled event where it can control the messaging, format, and news cadence without the type of investment needed to be present at E3. However, it could also choose not to share anything at this time like last year, which would give Microsoft and Nintendo a week of almost unrivaled attention for Xbox Series X and Nintendo Switch announcements. Okay, so like we've said multiple times, and like this article points out, Sony will most likely hold a digital event, where they can control what they show and give fans a lot of hype when it comes to owning a PS5, something that they'll need to do once E3 is over and Xbox has their massive event with Bethesda right by their side. So while Sony has skipped out on events entirely like they did a few years ago, where they didn't have an event for almost 2 years or so, they're also very aggressive when they need to be, much like they were last year when they had 2 huge events talking about new games and the PS5 console, which is something they'll do again to compete with everyone. But for now, let's get into the games I think we'll see at this summer event, or an event that we'll see maybe later on in September. The first one has to be Horizon Forbidden West. This game is one of the most anticipated games in gaming, especially after Horizon Zero Dawn, which turned into one of the most successful new IPs gaming has seen in years. That game really pushed the boundaries of what the PS4 and PS4 Pro can do, but at the same time, it kept gamers grounded in what could happen when a developer is given free reign on their creative process. Now, this game was announced last year at a Sony event that showcased a lot of games, and they threw a release year on the game for 2021, which from what I'm seeing might be able to happen if things during the pandemic went well for the developers. But overall, I have a feeling this game might be a game that gets delayed into early 2022, if not beyond. I'm not saying that to get people angry. I'm just saying the situation around the world has hurt a lot of developers, if not all developers across the industry. And so I believe this game can be delayed to help the developer catch up on certain things. But overall, I wouldn't be surprised to see a gameplay demo during the summer event that Sony might have, and really show the power of the PS5 and some next generation features that they want to show off with this game. But Sony has also said this game will be on the PS4, which would be a monster seller for everyone during the holiday season. But after that game, it has to be God of War Ragnarok. Now, this game has been in the news lately. There was a story going around saying that this game has been delayed and that it's going to be a PS5 only game. Here's what the article has to say. According to notable leaker Naftra, God of War Ragnarok, which is the tentative title for the next installment in the series, will only be arriving on PS5. This assertion was one that Naftra made a while back, but was recently rediscovered as talk surrounding the game has once again become prominent in the weeks prior to E3 2021 and Summer Game Fests. Naftra says that based on the information they have received, God of War Ragnarok, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and Demon's Souls were all planned by Sony to only come to PS5. Other titles, most notably with Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales and Horizon Forbidden West, were then said to appear on both PS5 and PS4. Now, I've said multiple times, God of War 2018 is one of the best games I've ever played in my life. I stand by that, and is truly one of my favorite franchises of all time. So I'm extremely excited for this game, but I have a feeling we won't get gameplay of this thing until next year. But I wouldn't be surprised to see this game during the summer event to help gamers stay excited about it. If there's gameplay attached to it, I'll be even more excited. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this game is in the works for a little while now, and they're going to keep it in the oven until about next year. But I think they'll show a little bit of a cinematic trailer for us this year during the summer event. But after that, it has to be Gran Turismo 7. This was a game that was announced last year, and again, it's a huge franchise that Sony leans on. Racing games are extremely popular because they're usually a graphical showpiece of the hardware. And seeing how Forza Motorsports isn't coming out for a little while now, it would be a huge advantage for Sony to get a racer out and show it off at this summer event. But if it's not ready, I expect a small trailer like we got last year and maybe a 2022 release. But having this in Horizon at the end of 2021 would be a huge lineup for Sony, especially if you factor in the next couple of third-party games I think will show up. So the first of the two third-party games I think will be there is Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo. Now, of course, these games will be there because they've been in development for a very long time. And in fact, there's already been gameplay trailers for both of these games that released last year. We have to remember, these games are made by Xbox first-party teams from Bethesda who inked these deals before the Xbox buyout. So they'll get these games out by end of summer or even end of this year. So expect Sony to lean on these games heavily for the 2021 holiday season, which means that Sony could have Deathloop, Ghostwire Tokyo, Horizon, and Gran Turismo out in 2021 holiday season. That's 4 AAA games ready for the PS5 holiday window. Not a bad lineup and not a bad summer event that Sony could show why you want to get a PS5. Which brings me to the last game, which is Final Fantasy something. Now, I'm not a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I never really liked those games, but it's obvious that Sony wants those games locked down on the PS5, and they've done that for the last huge release of Final Fantasy that released last year. So expect another showing of that, or even having the developers of the game announce this at E3 saying it's a PS5 exclusive, and then coming to Sony's event showing something huge about the game, maybe some gameplay. This is something I'm almost positive will happen because Sony has locked down a lot of third-party developers for exclusives. Now, of course, there's other games out there that they could show and even have some other first-party developers hint at something. But I feel that Sony wants their developers to lay low and work on something special. Each and every one of those developers can work on their games and not worry about showing anything for the next year, because that's 5 or 6 huge AAA games we just talked about. And that doesn't include any of the smaller AA games that Sony has locked down. That's a huge amount of content for a platform in the next year. Throw in multi-platform games and Sony is really looking good for the next year or so. That's why I expect them to really have one event this year with maybe another State of Play event at the end of the year. But come back next year with a huge E3, even that will show off a lot of the big games their first-party developers are working on. Either way, the competition between Xbox and Sony is only going to get better. Let's hope both companies come out this summer and have huge events that we all can get excited about. But enough of what I think about all of this. Tell me what you think about all of this. Do you think Sony will have a gaming event? Is Xbox going to have E3 and another event? Will the PS5 have multiple AAA games this year? What games are you most excited about? Will Horizon 2 come out this year or be delayed? Will any of these games get delayed? What type of event will Sony truly have? Go down below and let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button and that like button. The support helps out the channel more than you know. And give me a follow on Twitter at Zalker87. I'm always on there talking games and sharing my latest videos. Plus, I love interacting with everyone there, so get on Twitter and let's talk about gaming. Also, follow me on Xbox Live. My gamer tag is Zalker87, just like my channel name. See what games I'm playing, and let's compete in achievements for the month. So right now, I'm playing a lot of Mass Effect, and I'm playing a lot of other smaller games like Destroy All Humans, and I'm going to play Zombie Driver. I just bought that on sale, so I'm going to jump into that. There's a bunch of games I'm playing because Game Pass just really provides me so much content. Everything's coming out on Game Pass, and in June, there's so many games that I want to play on there. Some AAA, some AA. Everything about it is just great. I love playing on there, and I can't wait to just dive into different games that I've never played before. And I'm waiting for Ratchet & Clank because that looks insane. It's going to be the next game I play on my PS5. Returnal got kind of put on the back burner. I just couldn't trust it. It crashed on me twice, and it really irritated me. Plus, if I played it, I couldn't play anything else. So that kind of sucked. I wish they had smart delivery and quick resume. But let me know what you're playing. Are you waiting for Ratchet & Clank? Are you waiting for these events? Or are you waiting for something new like Biomutant? Go down below and let me know what you're playing on your console and on your PC, because that's what we're here for. So talk gaming. And that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember, enjoy your gaming. Later.